Life off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streakers, blah, and more. By so many places because I want to maximize, my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk before, during, or formally on this show. Instead, I want you to balance out all the bad news out there, which I will not be talking about anything that anybody else is talking about because you can go get it there. Because most of the time, if not all the time, it's bad news. If it bleeds, it leads. Instead, on this show, I want to balance out that bad news with good news, good people, good topics. If you missed the founder of Sandy Hook Promise, a beautiful mom after losing her son in the shooting, a month later, is now providing solution to gun violence. That was my show on Monday. Tuesday, we had an interview with Veteran Affairs, Library of Congress, the Veteran Project, which Dr. Tiffanie, I want to interview you for that. They're collecting stories from veterans. I'm going to do that with my bonus dad about the Korean War. And then, there's just so many shows, 1,252, but who's counting? And special series. I'm so delighted. You can tell it's Wednesdays. It's time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Besides a veteran, OBGYN certified, licensed, not fully practicing now because she pivoted when something happened that now prevents her from doing the surgery that she wants to do. But it has created the space for her to be a playwright, author, cook, singer, songwriter. But she's always been a mom. But please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Dr. Marissa.
It is a pleasure. We get to see each other tonight as well. It is time for the 11th sponsor of the Chinese Spotlight film at the Newport Beach Film Festival this evening. That's what's going to start my gratitude sandwich. Those of you who know the drill, first thing we do on every show with me is take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Having breakfast, top of the bun is gratitude, bottom of the bun is appreciation. Gratitude turn inwards. What do you like about yourself? So that you can start your day in the most positive way and end your day in the most positive way. So that's what I'm grateful for. I get to bring Dr. Tiffanie to dance at the Pacific Showcase after me introducing the Chinese Spotlight film Stuntman. And for those of you who haven't seen me doing a lot of dancing and a lot of Dr. Marissa reporting live, please go to my Instagram, Doc Ballots, or Dr. Marissa Pay on Facebook, everywhere else, and enjoy me being the hashtag dancing queen. And Dr. Tiffanie will be with me tonight, enjoying that with me. So I'm grateful for that. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful because this weekend I went to Howard University in Washington, D.C., and I got a chance to meet Anthony Anderson. And it was a fabulous time had. And I went to Howard University, and it is the birthplace of my beloved sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, because it was founded on the campus of Howard University, January 15th, 1908. And so it was just an excellent opportunity. They were celebrating their 100th year.
Hmm. Sounds very cool. How many people are in that sorority now?
We have over 300,000, I believe.
Wow, that's so cool. And it's not a sorority like party sorority. It's a philanthropic sorority.
Yes,
You do things for underserved everything, right?
absolutely.
Which is great. Awesome. I am grateful that I am throwing a birthday party for my one of my first bosses in California, Dr. Eva McCraven. She's turning 88. So we're all going to be in the Popa room in the Buca de Beppi in Encino, and so delighted. She was my another surrogate mom when I first moved here, and just I love celebrating people who were so instrumental in part of your healing in your life. And she was a great boss. She also was candidly the one who said clinical psych is just not your I don't have the P word. So working with chronically mentally ill, even though it was the best 2 years of my life, knowing that that's not my path was yeah. I'll tell you afterwards what exactly she said to me. Because it's a little R-rated, but you can imagine. She said the only population you'd be really good at working with is Beverly Hills businessmen who fill in the blank.
Oh, yeah.
What else are you grateful for, Dr. Tiffany?
I am also grateful that yesterday I gave a presentation to the community for an organization called Seroptimus, for which I sit on the board. And I talked about breast cancer because, again, I love to give back to the community. And it was a very invigorating presentation and very informative. And the women felt that they got a lot out of my presentation. And it always feels reassuring when I'm able to impact people's lives and help them.
Awesome. And I'll finish my gratitudes with a similar one. I finished teaching that class at UCLA, leadership, effectiveness, and happiness. And both administrators said, one, you had stellar evals, and the other one said I had excellent evals. So I am so grateful that that was the impact, and it's done. That was a big, on top of my regular Catalina Jazz Festival that I do every October and the Newport Beach Film Festival that I do every October, adding that class and a trip to Canada just about put me over the edge. And I'm feeling I feel good. My mind feels good. I don't look my age. I don't act my age, but my body is like ready to go on strike. Like, what the fork are you doing? Anyways, Dr. Tiffany, what are you grateful for?
And I am grateful that I also had a chance to spend some time with my mom yesterday because she
Ah,
was feeling neglected because I'm always running around doing stuff for other people. So after my presentation, which she had a chance to attend, and she
oh,
felt
beautiful.
um, that she enjoyed it. And she was like, well, you need to come over and spend some time with me. And I had a chance to go over to her house and spend some time with her. So she was very thankful for that.
Awesome. Did you tell her that I invited her to be your date at um the
The event,
Women's Film
yeah,
Festival? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, good.
yes.
Good. Hello, Queen. Nice to see you in studio. What are you grateful for? Actually, we're going to go to the bottom of the button, which is appreciation, gratitude, turn inward. What do you like about yourself so that you're not looking to others to approve of you, walking around with antenna, who likes me literally these days on social media? Instead, what do you like about yourself so when you go to bed tonight, you can think of these things so you're not getting sleepless in California or Seattle. So that's why we do this exercise to work your muscle of self-love, self-care, which I believe is the foundation of good mental health. So what do you like about yourself?
Well, I like the fact that I am determined. And when I make my mind up that I'm going to do something, I actually get it done.
Mhm.
And I am very goal oriented. And if I set a goal, I'm going to achieve it.
Yes, we do know that. We are sisters in that. Z Queen likes the Jesus in me. There you
Yes.
go. I appreciate my ability to listen to my body. Not really, but we're working on it. Work in progress. What do you like about yourself?
And I like the fact that I can be there for others and still be there for myself. I like the duplicity of me because I can still give and maintain. Because sometimes we can't pour from an empty cup and you can't overextend yourself, and you have to know when to draw the line, because if you're always giving and then there's nothing left over for yourself, you're in trouble. And you really do have to know when to say when. And I like the fact that I have learned to know when to say when.
You talking to me?
Yeah, if the truth hurts, if you can't say amen, say ouch.
Well, I'll get you back soon when we
I know you
address
will.
the
I know you're coming
topic.
for me. I know you're coming for me.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us for breakfast today. This is a good life habit that we'd like you to continue, whether with or without me. I'm on every weekday morning for the last 651 consecutive weeks. So please do join me. Gratitudes, appreciations at night, and I promise you embrace your day in the most positive way. Thanks for sharing and having breakfast with us. And now for the topic of the day. Dr. Tiffanie, what are we talking about today?
So, today we're talking about bad habits. And there's always a reason for this. And we're talking now, what is a bad habit? A bad habit is a pattern of behavior that is perceived as negative. It may not necessarily be negative, but it is perceived as negative. So it could be negative in fact, but it may or may not be negative by you, but it is perceived as negative by some people. And I came up with this because when I was on vacation this weekend with and I met my cousin and I met a couple of cousins in DC, and I was talking to them. And one of them was having issues with a relationship or with a couple of relationships. And I was counseling her, and she was like, "Oh, um, I've had like four boyfriends and they've all had the same problem with me." And I said, "Well, if all of the guys have had the same problem with you, perhaps it's not them, it's actually you." And she said, "Well, all my other friends said it was them." I said, "Well, the common denominator is actually you. And if all of the four guys are different guys, it's not them. Let's talk about this. It's you." And so I said, "This is a bad habit. And let's look at this and let's break it down, because I don't think it's them. I honestly think it's you. So let's put the shoe on the other foot. What if they treated you the way you have been treating them? Would you like it?" And she said, "Well, when you put it that way, I would not." So sometimes we have to be introspective and retrospective and reflect on things. And then we have an aha moment. And she said, "Nobody ever put it like that and talked to me like that." And then she realized some growth. And she was like, "Okay, that is a bad habit, but I can't help it." I said, "Well, now that you know about it, you can help it and you can start working on it." and we talked about it. I said that would be a good subject to address on my show, because we all have some little quirks within us that we can probably improve upon, and we don't necessarily see them as bad habits because it's just part of us and how we do. But if it's part of our routine, we think, well, it's just the way that I am. But if people are constantly telling you, hey, it's not cool, you should probably change, it's affecting me negatively and it's affecting your relationships, you might need an aha moment.
It's so funny how Dr. Tiffanie didn't know that I actually talked about this on Mental Health Matters show, about when to take criticism, which is part of your feedback on your blind spots and your bad habits. So this was totally aligned to what I had already brought up, which is not the first time that's happened. I think that's just like really funny. Before I forget though, I wanted to add a gratitude. We got a really nice comment. I mean, we've been getting really nice comments, but this one popped up last week. Hello, beautiful Dr. Marissa and beautiful Dr. Tiffanie. You are both a power team. I love listening to the both of you and your perspective. Keep up the great job. So we really love it when we get compliments. It doesn't bake our own cake, which is the concept I talked about. We know who we are, 88% fabulous, 12% of the time we step in it. But it is lovely to get compliments because it's exercising your muscle of being grateful. So I just wanted to put that in there. Thank you so much. And that's from, I don't know names from usernames, but Lachelle Gardner. I don't know if that's someone that you, with a bunch of numbers. So thank you. If you're listening today, thank you for that appreciation. All right. So time for the test. I was sent this by Dr. Tiffanie. I have not taken it. Did you take it already?
I did.
Okay, good. So usually she has, and I have not. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I put the link in the chat. Oh, there's the gratitude sandwich. Wait, is this? No. Is this the test? Dr. Tiffanie?
Let's see, scroll down. No, you
This?
before when it said Breaking Bad, that was the test.
Oh, that was weird. Okay.
That's the test. Breaking Bad habits.
I hit this one?
Yeah, hit start.
I hit the start. I did.
Okay, scroll down. Yeah, scroll down. Just scroll down.
Oh, that's why. That's so weird. That's the way they trick you.
Yeah, you don't have to click anything. You just start scrolling.
Now. Okay,
Yeah,
here we go.
Down.
Questions and answers.
Just scroll down. Mm-hmm.
Your boyfriend, girlfriend says there's a need to talk about something. Your actions. You decide to buy a dress. You call your bestie, ask them to come with you. You go to the right. You become very nervous and cry. I hate these kinds of tests because none of them are like not what I would do. I guess this one.
Just hit the
right.
X. Okay.
Okay. I guess B. See, why is it doing that?
I don't know. Just hit X. Okay. Keep scrolling down.
See, it comes up with that again. Why is that doing that?
That I don't know.
Was the first question the bestie one? Is that the one that you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I did press this one, B, and then it goes to that.
Yeah, hit X. Just hit X.
I'm about to throw this quiz. So I'm not gonna, every time I hit it, it goes. Do you have a hobby? Is that one?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a question?
Yes.
To do with bad habits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. None of these are my hobbies.
Then you put, I don't have a hobby.
I do have hobbies.
Okay. So
See, I pressed it and it goes to this. Okay. You see, when you're a professor that actually designs questionnaires and quizzes, it's very difficult to take a quiz. Which of these options doesn't seem to be a bad habit? Crying when you have problems, drinking a bottle of beer 4 times, eating snacks, and buying something new. Again, I would probably say all of them are bad habits.
Which one does not seem to be a bad habit? Which one is least
They
likely?
all look like bad habit. So, I mean, anyways, what did you say? I guess A or B, but it's like, anyways, it's rate this question, bad question. What's it say? What's the issue? Anyways, okay, X out. Do we have to? That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. The girl with that. Yeah, exactly.
Throw the finger up her nose.
Okay, what's your ideal part of the day? Completely changing my outfit, having a fancy and going to talking to your besties. Okay, this one I actually say having a fancy dinner. But I can't press it because then it goes to another thing. You will never become one of these things or people. Shopaholic, obese person, alcoholic, a nervous person. Oh my gosh, really? Dr. Tiffanie, these are like dumb questions. I mean, anyways, I'm skipping that one because there's really no.
You won't become any of them, right?
Right. Choose the picture you like most of all. Party, cozy evening at home, going shopping, proposal.
Which one are you more likely to like out of all of those?
All of them.
But you have to like one.
I mean, no, like all the top 3 are all good for me as equally. What's your favorite dish? I guess lobster.
Okay, we agree on that.
How many hours a week do you work? As many as I can, which is more than 40.
See, it depends on my mood.
What is your main problem? None of the above. What'd you put?
I probably spend too much.
Okay.
I shop a lot.
Okay. What's this say? What do you want now? I don't want anything. I have everything.
You want to work. You don't tell the truth. You want to work.
Well, I love to work. Yeah. Okay, fine. Work. All right. So what was your score? Because every time I press something, it goes to this.
And
See that?
Uh-huh. So I think you're probably more of a workaholic and I am a shopaholic. That's what I got.
Okay. And oh, see, it was the burger. So they go in a different okay. So let me try this to become compliant. So more than 40, as many as I can. So it came, your bad habits is shopaholic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
Guilty.
okay. Let's see what it says for me. I'm on question 5. Did anybody do the quiz with us? Is he doing it with us? So this is a quiz for those of you who just tuned in. I am complaining and also trying to fill out this stomach aches. None of the above. It doesn't have it. See, this is why I'm not happy with this. Is like I don't have any of the above. So
you just have to pick one.
Anything is. I mean, okay. Drinking a bottle, buy something. Options doesn't seem to be a bad habit. Eating snack. Oh, this is different than the one I did before. Eating snacks every day. Okay. Next. And scroll the eBay list, have a cocktail, watch movies, working. Okay, you called me out on that one. See, watch movie and eat. I would say watch movie and eat popcorn, not pizza. That's a double barrel question for those of you who do questionnaire design. Completely changed my ideal part of the day, having a fancy dinner. Okay, fine. Make me choose one. And we're talking about bad habits. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. All right. You're forcing me to answer. On KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, and the number one talk in the IE. Thank you. Even though we're talking and taking a test right now, looking for bad habits. I said that I liked all of them. Let's see.
Be honest with yourself.
You think party. Okay, fine.
Gotta know yourself.
Huh? Pardon? Well, it's like party and cozy evening at home. Okay, you've completed your quiz. Bad eating habits. Sorry to say, but you eat too much. You often skip breakfast and enjoy having snacks for lunch. Your dinner includes many courses. What about desserts? Yummy, right? But what about healthy? Stop wasting your time and money. Focus on leading a happy and healthy lifestyle. Maybe in the past, but
not currently.
Definitely not. No. So I dropped 40 pounds. So I did gain some back, but it's not like, anyways. So yours was shopaholic. Mine's not workaholic. It's eataholic. I would have agreed with you, more workaholic than anything, but the quiz didn't show that.
Yeah, I think their questions could have been a little bit better, but it's just something fun to do. But it also makes you think about what is it about me? And when I was talking to my cousin, I wanted to let her know, okay, these are things that you need to do when you think about, what is it that I can do to address my issues? Because her issue was that she's a tad bit flirtatious. And I said, when you go out on a date with a guy, you can't leave him and go start talking to another guy for about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to an hour and leave your date. That's not cool. And so you have to remember who you went to the party with. And she was like, that's what I do for my job and things like that. And she didn't mean anything by it, and it's very innocent. And I said, but the guy you went out with is feeling neglected. And I said, you wear an Apple Watch, set a timer on how long you're talking to the other person with, and do set it for like 5 or 10 minutes. And when it beeps in that conversation, and whether it's a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Go back to the person you came with, because that is inappropriate to neglect the person you came with. It is not cool and it is not fair, because you can't forget who you went with.
So I would have said to her first, is this working for you? And if she said, it's fine, I don't really care, then I would say, is it possible that you're setting yourself up because you don't want to have a relationship, because maybe you're afraid of having a relationship, and this is a way that ensures that you're not going to have a relationship? That's what I would have said to her. Because when people do things that they know are not good for them, like date someone that no one likes in your life, but they continue to go back to that person to date them and rekindle, then I ask that person, What is it about that relationship that you have been told by people who love you that is not good for you? What is it that keeps you going there? And for a lot of the people that I get to coach, it's because they don't feel worthy or good enough to have someone better. So that's what I would say, whenever anybody says, I have this thing that I do and I know I shouldn't do it, but it's just the way I am, then I always say, is it working for you? And then if they say it's working for you, then I will dig a little more and say, but didn't you tell me that you wanted whatever it was? So for this friend of yours, I would say, do you want to have a relationship? Do you want to have a loving relationship? And if they said yes, then I would say the person's giving you some feedback about how to be more loving. And that is, I think I mentioned this before, that when someone tells you that they don't like something, we don't like to take that because we think it's like an attack on our character, telling us we can't be who we are, when in effect, they're just saying, if you want to connect with me, this would help. That's all feedback is. So the guy with your cousin, or the many men with your cousin, the four, are saying, if you want a relationship with me, don't flirt, right?
Mhm.
So that's what they're telling her. And that's what you said, is like, that's not fair. But I'm just saying that, it sounded a little bit more like a lecture than letting them have the choice of, is this what you want? So I know someone who's in a relationship right now, and all of her friends say, don't be in that relationship. And so I would ask that person, is it working for you? And if that person said, yes, it's working for me, and then I would ask her, if it's working for you, what does that say about your habit? Is this a habit of picking men who, you kind of know that they're not the best thing for you because everybody's told you and they know you and love you, but you do it? So what does that say about where you are in terms of, is it because you're going to the tractor for milk, hoping that they'll become the person that you want them to become, or because you want them to, they have potential to be helped to become the person you want them to become? So all of those things is what I would ask that person. And that person can, own up to it or not. But I didn't want to, call them out or anything.
I completely understand. I completely understand. And I know that a lot of times in relationships are complex because a lot of times there's heart, there's love, there's feelings, and it's tough to walk away from a relationship because you are in love with someone. And sometimes you can be in love with someone who isn't good for you, and you don't know when to say when. And they say that it can take anywhere from, they used to say 6 weeks or 90 days. Sometimes it takes even longer to break a bad habit. But when you talk about love, it can take months to years to walk away. You look at people in abusive relationships, they stay, and it's just really hard. And if someone has grown up in dysfunctional abusive homes, they're used to that abuse and dysfunction, so they view that as normal. And it's hard to separate what healthy love looks like and to differentiate that and to leave um, a functional or to seek a functional love can be difficult. And so I would say to your friend, I completely get what you're coming or what they're dealing with, because as someone who was in a dysfunctional marriage, I completely empathize with that person.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I say, is it working for you? And I think that I get the part around, I have actually a model for change, because I work as an organizational psychologist. I work with companies, and they'll come to me and say, I want a healthier culture of respect and open communication and transparency. And I want it like now. And I'll say, how long has your organization supported um, uh, inauthentic, uh, not telling the truth, favoritism, any of those things? And they'll say, oh, wow, it's been going on for like 10 years or 15 years. Or how long on a personal level has your bad habit been running your life? And it'll be 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So the best case scenario, like turning a giant ship, nothing at the beginning is going to even look like you're moving anything. It has to be concerted effort of turning and practicing 20% of the time that it took to get there. So in that, I would agree with you that if you are in love for, let's say, 5 years, it's going to take a concerted effort for 20% of that 5 years, which is what? 1 year, 6 months. That's 20% of the time. But my whole thing around changing bad habits is you can have every reason to continue your bad habit, but if it's not working for you, then sometimes it's a dose of gospel according to Nike. Just do it. It's that saying, enough is enough. I've wasted enough time. I'm never going to get this time back. I'm not opening myself to the possibility of any other relationships because I'm a loyal person. And as a result, that's just time. And so when people come to you and say, this is a bad habit of yours, then I would say that's something to look at. If 3 people, this is my rule, 3, 3, 3. If 3 people tell you the same thing 3 times, that is a habit that you want to look at to break. So in that person's situation with someone that none of their friends and family appreciate, maybe 1 or 2, because they see the love factor of it. But if 3 of your friends are telling you 3 times that this person is not good for you, it is something to look at, because they're doing for you maybe what you cannot do for yourself. But and then I would say, let's do the work inside about seeing yourself, because like attracts like. So if you're attracting a guy that isn't good for you, if you're attracting a guy that you're not 80% really good with, and if you've broken up or tried to break up with someone more than 1 time, that tells me that there's an issue. So if you continue to return to relationships where you know there's an issue, Don Miguel Ruiz, a friend of mine who wrote the 4 Agreements, who I've interviewed, says, if you want a dog, don't buy a cat. So if you have a cat and you wanted a dog, then what in you is attracting the cat? So that means, to me, the work is in yourself. So what makes you attract someone not good for you? What makes you attract someone who has to be told this is not okay? I mean, 12% of the time you can tell someone, that's not working for me. But if it's more than 12% of the time, and if you break up more than once, definitely that's the case, then I would say time to do a little loving yourself and recalibrating who you are, so you're going to attract someone that you don't have to say all the time, this isn't working for me.
I completely understand. Yes. If you have to tell someone how to love you, this is how I want to be loved. This is how I want you to talk to me. This is how I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Um, you you don't need to provide a complete roadmap 100% of the time. But I think some things should be natural, some things should be innate. Um, it shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be that hard. If the love is genuine, if the love is true, if it is natural, it should be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
We're going to come right back. We have to take a quick break. We haven't done any station ID at all. And I do want Dr. Tiffanie to talk about her books that she has behind her. Don't go away for a minute. We're going to do time for news, traffic, and weather. We'll be back in 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery used to say, but I say peace in, peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And it's Dr. Marissa about to report live on the red carpet of the 25th Newport Beach Film Festival, October 17th through 24th. And I'm again the proud sponsor of the Chinese Spotlight film, and I get to give away free passes to the Pacific Showcase, which highlights and celebrates all things Asian film, food, and fun. So tune into my show. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, to find out how to win passes for the Asian Oprah giveaway, as well as the promo code. So you can get discount tickets at www.newportbeachfilmfest.com. We'll see you there soon. And Dr. Tiffanie, why don't you tell us about the books behind you that you are rolling out right now?
Yes. Hello, hello, hello. My newest book is Money Matters, and it is a story about three brothers, Nathaniel, Mark, and Terry, who were walking home in the park. They found $100 and they ran home before it got dark. Their mother sat them down and she explained to them and gave them information about how they should spend that money. It is a rhythmic story and it teaches children about saving, tithing, and investing. Then we have Little Engine Mia Sings. This is another poetic story, rhythmic story that teaches children about bullying. You can pick these books up on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. There's also Bad Touching. It is a book that teaches children about how to protect themselves. I recommend you get them as soon as possible.
And welcome back. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,253 podcast shows, but who's counting? And you can also get my red carpet playlist there with my interviews with Halle Berry, The Temptations, Quincy Jones, John Travolta, and more. And we're back with Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And the topic today is bad habits. And we've uncovered several bad habits: shopaholic, workaholic, foodaholic, and loveaholic. And we've been giving all realm of advice that Dr. Tiffanie reminds me that it is take my advice. I'm not using it. So we do all of this with tongue in cheek. I wanted to come back, though, and address something that Dr. Tiffanie said about love. And I hear a lot of this in my happiness coaching. People say, but I love him. I love him. I really, really love him, so I can't live with him. I can't live without him. And relationships are hard. And so I'm not trying hard enough, or they're not trying. I just got to give it another chance. And so my advice on that is relationships do require work. But if relationships are more than 20% work, then it's too much work. So I work with a lot of women in relationships who say, I want them to love me for who I am. And then I can't love them for who they are, though. Right? I want them to love me exactly how I am, but he does this wrong and that wrong and this wrong and that wrong. And in those cases, yes, maybe it's your adjustment to be more loving for that person. They're not perfect. No man is, no woman is, but 80%'s got to match the 80%. And oftentimes what happens in that first trimester of relationships, I call it my pregnancy model of relationships. In that first trimester, it's all glowy. You make promises you really can't keep. You are enamored with the person. Oh my God, I feel like I've known them my whole life, and they do all the right things. They say all the right things. And then in the second trimester, when you start feeling the gassy part of pregnancy and the swollen ankles or all the discomfort, you're seeing the real side of them. And so that's the balancing part, that the third trimester is when you make the decision. I know what's good. I know what's not good. Is it, with that formula, is it 80% good? If you're happy with that person 80% of the time, that's my rule, then that's a good relationship. 20% of the time, he does this and this habit, that's 20% of the time. But if you are complaining about that person, and or other people are noticing that about that person, and it's more than 20% of the time, that's when you look at, why am I attracting someone who is way more than 20% not a match for me? So I just wanted to clarify some of the words that I said before break around why I would coach someone that I care about when there's like a plethora of feedback that that person is not a match for that person. And then finally, we have a tendency to bag on people who are not matches. Oh, what happened to that guy? Oh, he was blah, blah, blah. What happened to the and I try, I'm not good at it yet, but I try to say, if it isn't a match, it's just not a match. That's not a bad person. You're not a bad person. It's after the first 3 months, it was just not a match. And the only way to discover if they're a match or not, to make it through that second trimester, when you get the real side. Don Miguel says, the first 3, he says the initial meeting is like shopping for fruit. And when a vendor puts fruit out, they're not going to put the bad side up, right? They're going to put the good side up. So that's the where I'm coming from. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, absolutely. Because I had a friend who's male friend. He has a bunch of female friends, and he would never talk to his female friends in front of his girlfriend. And I said, if they're platonic friends, you should be able to talk to your female friends in front of your girlfriend, because they're platonic friends. So you should be able to talk to your female friends in front of your girlfriend because they're platonic. So you should talk to him about that. And she talked to him about it, and he still refused to talk to his female friends in front of her. And I said, well, that's something that you and him need to really work out. And it's been a point of contention in their relationship, and they've been together for years, and he still won't do it. And she finds it very disrespectful. He'll like leave the room or put his phone on mute or just ignore the calls. And so she's like, well, what are you hiding? If it's just platonic, you should be able to talk to them. It just doesn't seem right. And so I'm like, well, I don't know what to say other than I think that is something that you really need to decide how you want to handle that. Because if you can talk to your male friends in front of him because everything is platonic, then he should be able to talk to his female friends in front of you if everything is platonic. Because obviously there's something going on that's not quite right. And I think a lot of times if there are bad habits or bad habit patterns, open communication is key. And that goes back to our communication episode, being able to express yourself and communicate with one another.
I have a little interesting question, not interesting question, but a little, is it possible that he's not talking to his other friends because out of respect to the woman that he is having the relationship with? So just in the same way that your example of your friend or cousin you were coaching on, don't spend so much time with other men when you're with your man. So isn't this an extension of that, where if you're with your woman, you don't want to be talking to other women while you're with that woman, instead of, I'm not talking to them because I have something to hide?
I'm not sure, because if it's a phone call, it should be just a quick phone call. You take phone calls all the time.
Right. But I mean, I would clarify that first, is to say, is the reason why you're doing this out of respect?
No,
To,
he'll take a phone call, but he'll leave the room.
oh, that's different. Okay. So yeah. Well, that is something that if it's if it's that bothersome, and so why are they still together? Uh-oh, I lost you. Dr. Tiffanie. Hopefully it's not my link. I don't know what happened just now. Dr. Tiffanie froze. I think it was a minute of I hope it's not me. But anyways, we're talking about bad habits today, and we are wrapping up now different scenarios from people in relationships. And I think the core, we've talked about different kinds of, let's see, I'm going to make her come back in. If you are talking about different ways in which to come together in a relationship and it's not working for you, then to look at what is the part that keeps getting you back together that could be considered a bad habit. So I am wondering where Dr. Tiffanie is. There she is. There you go. You got frozen there for a second.
No, we lost power, so I had to connect to my
mobile. Okay, good. I was glad. I was like, is it me or is it her?
Well, thank God for mobile hotspots.
Yep, that's great. That's great. So we're coming up towards the end. Our focus has been bad habits on relationships, but I just want to make sure that we cover, if you have a bad habit and it's a bad habit and it's not working for you, that's the first step. Is it working for you? And if you say no, then some of the steps or some of the tips that we've talked about, and we'll kind of wrap it up here with Dr. Tiffanie and I. What are some of the things that you can do to get rid of a bad habit? Go ahead.
There is what's called the 21-90 rule. It states that it is 21 days to make a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. And so basically, there are different cues, cravings, responses, rewards, and triggers. And so you can desensitize yourself and reprogram yourself to correct that bad habit. And so there's like a reward response way in which you can change your behavior. Like I was saying when I was talking to my cousin, she can use her Apple Watch to set timers with setting her a timer on how long she talks to someone. If you want to change your smoking, break smoking, you can talk to someone about that. There are lots of bad habits. Like the top bad habits are swearing, picking your nose, not listening, biting your nails, eating chocolate, snoring, procrastinating, and not brushing your teeth twice a day. Little small things. And so these are little behavior things that you can adjust to and change your behavior and focus on that. So you can put up Post-its and reminders to help correct those things.
Yeah, great advice. I use reward to myself too. If I know that I shouldn't do something or know I should do something and I really don't want to do it, I will reward myself with either a game of solitaire or it used to be Candy Crush, but I didn't win the trip to England. I was second place. So after that, I stopped playing that. But I will give myself a reward and I'll work towards that reward. Chinese reflexology, manicure, pedicure, a movie, things that I like to do. And I have to keep my agreement that if I finish this or stop doing that, then I will reward myself. So that definitely works. I do want to say that sometimes there are parts of us like I have to really work at listening, because when I grew up, if I had listened fully, I'd be dead, because the things that were said to me were so painful and hurtful that I developed a habit of not fully listening. So I work on that habit of being better at listening, but I'm not perfect. And I don't think I ever will be perfect in that. And I cut myself some slack. So as long as 12% of the time I will, not fully tune in, but most of the time I will, knowing that it's helpful for any intimate relationship to really listen. But I have compassion for myself that when I don't do it all the time, and it's okay. So I just want to balance that out.
Absolutely. And I think when it comes to bad habits, like I said before, they are perceived things, perceived negative behaviors. Like I said, I love to shop, but I also do a lot of donating. And I think it's good to recycle clothes and give things away, to be philanthropic. I don't think that I have a shopping problem. It's something I enjoy doing. I call it retail therapy, and it is perceived negative behavior. I don't think it's a negative behavior. I enjoy shopping, but it's just what the test showed. So, but if a bunch of people are telling you it's a problem and it's a detriment to your situation, then it might be a bad habit. If it's causing a problem in your relationship, it might be a bad habit. If it's preventing you from having a healthy relationship, it might be a bad habit that might need to be corrected. So I would say look introspectively, look retrospectively at your history and see
And
what.
Dr. Tiffanie, we have to stop it right now. We're going to be way over. Thank you so much. It was a great topic. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Thanks for joining us on Doctors in the House. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.